Hello students, in today's session let us learn about object oriented programming concept using C++. The major motivating factor in the invention of object oriented approach is to remove some of the flaws encountered in the procedure approach. Object oriented programming treats data as a critical element in the program development and does not allow it to flow freely around the system. It ties data more closely to the functions that operate on it and protects it from accidental modification from outside functions. OOPS allows decomposition of a problem into a number of entities called objects and then builds data and functions around these objects. Now, let us have a look at the organization of a data and function in object-oriented programs. The data of an object can be accessed only by the functions associated with that object. However, functions of one object can access the functions of other objects. Object is a collection of number of entities. Objects take up space in the memory. Objects are instances of classes. When a program is executed, the objects interact by sending messages to one another. Each object contains data and code to manipulate the data. Objects can interact without having known details of each other's data or code. Now, let us have a look at example. Student act as object. The data members are name, date of birth, and the function members are total and display. Interact each other. Features of object-oriented programming are class, data hiding and encapsulation, dynamic binding, message passing, inheritance and polymorphism. Let us have a look at each one of these. First, class is a collection of objects of similar type. Objects are variables of the type class. Once a class has been defined, we can create any number of objects belonging to that class. Example, grapes, bananas and orange are the members of class fruit. Now, let us have a look at an example. Fruit orange. Fruit is a class and orange is an object. Note that classes are user defined data types. Secondly, data abstraction and encapsulation, combining data and functions into a single unit called class, and the process is known as encapsulation. Data encapsulation is important feature of a class. Class contains both data and functions. Data is not accessible from the outside world and only those functions which are present in the class can access the data. The insulation of the data from direct access by the program is called data hiding or information hiding. Hiding the complexity of program is called abstraction and only essential features are represented. In short, we can say that internal working is hidden. Third, dynamic binding. It refers to linking of function call with function definition is called binding, and when it takes place at runtime, it is called dynamic binding. The next one, message passing. The process by which one object can interact with other object is called message passing. Coming to the fifth, inheritance. It is a process by which object of one class acquire the properties of features of objects of another class. The concept of inheritance provides the idea of reusability, means we can add additional features to an existing class without modifying it. This is possible by deriving a new class from the existing one. The new class will have the combined features of both the classes. Now, let us have a look at the example. Robin is a part of the class flying bird, which is again a part of the class bird. And the last one, polymorphism. A Greek term means ability to take more than one form. An operation may exhibit different behaviors in different instances. The behavior depends upon the types of data used in the operation. Now, let us have a look at an example. A single function name can be used to handle different number and different types of arguments like operator overloading and function overloading. Main application area of OOPS are user interface design such as Windows, menu, etc. and real-time systems, simulation and modeling, object-oriented databases and AI, artificial intelligence and expert systems, neural networks and parallel programming, decision support and office automation system. And the main advantages are, it is easy to model a real system as real objects are represented by programming objects in OOPS. The objects are processed by their member data and functions. It is easy to analyze the user requirements. With the help of inheritance, we can reuse the existing class to derive a new class such that the redundant code is eliminated and the use of existing class is extended. This saves time and cost of program. In OOPS, data can be made private to a class such that only member function of the class can access the data. This principle of data hiding helps a programmer to build a secure program that cannot be invaded by code in other part of the program. With the help of polymorphism, the same function or same operator can be used for different purpose. This helps to manage software complexity easily. Large problems can be reduced to smaller and more manageable problems. It is easy to partition the work in a project based on objects. It is possible to have multiple instances of an object to coexist without any interference. That is, each object has its own separate member, data and function. Hope you have got a good insight on object-oriented programming concept using C++. Until we meet again, bye.